Hey guys, today we're going to see what is Azure Bastion Service. So before getting on to Azure Bastion Service, I'm gonna give you some scenario and possibly explain what is a jump server, and then probably from there we'll go on to understanding of Azure Bastion Service and the need to have that in place. Okay, so the scenario is you have a company network, and then we have two virtual machines, and one is a secure virtual machine where have all our sensitive documents. Okay, and then we don't want anybody from outside the company network to access these virtual machines. So what we do is we basically disable the public IP address associated with this virtual machine, so only people with a private IP address inside the same network can access these machines. And then we also have NSG rules to have any machine inside the virtual network to do an RDP to 3389. Okay, so having said that, let's assume that you went for a vacation, and suddenly you need to have that a document that's actually inside this virtual box, and you are trying to do an RDP, but it's failing because this machine does not have a public IP address associated, right? So if this is the case, and how do you actually go about and access this virtual machine outside the network, company's network, which I'm highlighting it here. So what we do is, before having the Bastion service, we basically create another virtual machine inside the same virtual network and call that as a jump server. Okay, this is basically just a virtual machine with an operating system, Windows or Linux or whatever it be, right? And this virtual machine obviously needs to have a public IP address because you need to access this outside the company's network. And then obviously also you need to have an NSG, network security inbound rules for RDP, right? Excuse me. So having said that, this is basically a jump server which we are responsible for all the maintenance that goes into this jump server, like maintaining the security, authentication, authorization, everything goes in that. And this is actually becomes a pain in the back for the administrator, right? So this is where the Azure Bastion service come into this place. Instead of having a jump server, you basically have Azure Bastion service. Okay, now you might wondering, what is this all about, right? So basically this is a VM which is being taken care by Microsoft, and you can access this virtual machine using any browser which is compatible with HTML5. And Bastion is deployed in the virtual network that contains Azure Bastion subnet. I'm going to talk about this Azure Bastion subnet when we go ahead and create Azure Bastion service. And yeah, let's get into the Azure portal. Excuse me guys, I have a bad throat today. So let's get into the Azure portal and start provisioning Azure Bastion service. So I'm inside the virtual Azure portal, and I have already provisioned a Vault Server 101. So what is this virtual machine is basically this Azure Secure Virtual Machine, and I already provisioned this virtual machine and have disassociate the public IP address, and I also have NSG rules. So let's just get into the box and I will walk you through what I'm talking about. So when we take an overview of this virtual machine, as you can see, there is no public IP address. And then when you go on to the networking, you have a RDP 3389 port, and source and destination is any, and then it says allow. Now let's go to Bastion service. So you go to this search bar, and then you can type Bastion, and then you have this. You basically go and create Bastion service from this wizard. But before doing that, there's actually a prerequisite that needs to be in place in the virtual network to create a Bastion service, right? Remember when I was talking about Azure Bastion subnet? Yes. So you have to create a subnet inside your virtual network and name it as Azure Bastion subnet. So here I have just created a subnet using this plus wizard, and then I named it as exactly as Microsoft has told me to do so. So this is AZURE Bastion and subnet. So this naming convention is very important, and that's how Microsoft will pick up this Azure Bastion subnet by its own. I'll show you how it's doing. So let's go on to Bastion, create Bastion service. You basically select resource group, and then you can name whatever you want. A region should be whatever the resource group that is tied to. I'm actually on West US. And then you have your virtual network. I already have that one. And you see this, the subnet actually went ahead and configured itself as Azure Bastion subnet. It automatically picked it up. And this is a prerequisite that you need to have that in place before you create a Bastion. And then you have a public IP address. Review and create. Hey guys, so it took me around roughly like 15 to 20 minutes to deploy the Azure Bastion, and finally it's been deployed. Let's get on to the resource, and then let's straight away try to use the Bastion servers. So I go to the Vault server, and then I click connect, and then I'm going to use this option called Bastion servers. And then what it says is it gives me a button called use Bastion, and then let's see. And once this is done, you should be able to connect to the virtual machine using the password. Yeah, I'm gonna type my user and password, and then I'm gonna click connect. Once I do that, it actually opens another tab on my Chrome, and it's just connecting a session inside the Bastion. And now you can see that I'm using my browser to actually getting on to the Vault machine. And that's it, guys. This is pretty much quick and very simple, and you can see from the system that we have connected to the Vault server 101. You can see here, and this machine does not have a public IP address, so but you are connecting to that machine using your browser. That's it, guys. If you have any doubt, feel free to post that on the comment section, and I'm happy to help.